Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time. It's been a minute. I hope you're all doing great and doing well. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be doing my very first game review. And one of the games I'm going to be reviewing today is called Lies of P. Now, there is going to be a bit of spoiler, so here's your warning now. And I'm basically just going to say I recommend this game to play. I think it's really fun, it's creative, and it's not difficult to kind of get a feel for it, so to speak. I give this game an 8 out of 10, and I recommend. Um, so that's the short part of it. In case if you were curious that if you should get it and didn't want to be spoiled, I recommend getting. So go ahead and give it a shot. Catch it on a Steam sale, but it's definitely a game I recommend getting. Especially since in the works that there's going to be a DLC and a sequel. One of the two. I don't know if it's in the year 2025, like later, or in the next year, but they did talk about a little bit of it in towards the end of 2024. So yes, get the game. I recommend. It's fun to play, and that's it. Now we're gonna be getting into the nitty gritty, the deets of the game. So it's gonna be a bit of a spoiler warning. So this is basically gonna be about my honest review on the game. I played it all the way through. With no summons, I did a strength build because I saw the big wrench and I was like, I want big wrench, right? Who wouldn't want a giant ass wrench? So saw that, went for that. Then eventually I switched to the like fire axe. I think it was a bit more balanced and versatile. I personally like the fire axe weapon. All right, I'm getting a little ahead. So I really like um, the story of Lies of P. It's really good in a sense that you'd think one thing is happening, right? But then there's this twist, and then there's like a bigger, um, uh, you think so like there's something bigger that's happening, right? And then you get hit with another twist, and there's a much bigger thing happens, and you're finding out that you are the center of it all, right? It's great. I think it's well written. The direction with the story is really good. I really love the references in the game because it's supposed to be reference from like Pinocchio. Now I don't know if it's like Pinocchio the book or Pinocchio like the movie. Like the puppet, and you have like the cats, the two animals that like trick Pinocchio, and then there is like a fairly godmother isk. There is a Geppetto, uh, and so there are characters being referenced in the game, and they themselves also play like a pretty good, like they play important roles into the story. Like it's all intertwined, right? But yeah, so I think the story is really good. I enjoyed it. The um and even when it comes to like the theme of the game, it's a little darker, a little more yeah, not like a darker tone. It's not all like sunshines and rainbows. There's some major events like happen in the game. So things are kind of like a little sad, a little grimy. But the outfits of your character and just the outfits of the other characters, they're really nice. It kind of gives it. They're giving Bloodborne like aesthetic, like the outfit at least. And then like the town, the city, it's kind of gothic, but in a more futuristic kind of way, if that makes sense. Uh, So it's this the Krat is the name of the city. It's nice. It has you start off in like the slums, so to speak, in like the lower areas of Krat, and then you kind of work your way up to the um more of the towns, then like the a mansion at some point, and then eventually you go to an island that's like so far from this place, and an island where it all started essentially. Um, so yeah, so that part's really cool. So now we can talk about the combat. The combat is actually not that bad. It takes a little getting used to, cause you have to play a little more defensively, uh, compared to like Bloodborne, where you're supposed to be a little more aggressive, right? So you do a lot of deflecting and perfect pairing, and there's a lot uh, that you benefit from using that mechanic. So it does take a little bit of learning, but it's not very big. It's not very heavy to learn. You know what I mean? It takes a little bit of practice, but you'll eventually will get it. Um, and then you have different types of weapons. You have your balance weapons, and then you have like strength and dex weapons. And you kind of branch into one of the three, um, or even I haven't seen it done before, but you might build off his arm, his puppet arm. You I think you might be able to make a build with that where you mainly use that, but I haven't seen anything like it. But it's something that I thought about, but I haven't really tried myself. But other than that, like you definitely want to practice the parrying, deflecting, and the perfect parries, because those play a huge role into the game, and it'll help you uh, go a little further, and it'll carry you all the way through. You can kind of go in like if you have a OP like strength build, you can go in just swinging and just kind of um, take enemies out, but you really get the major damage from like the I think what do they call it, like posture damage. So once you like damage their posture and they're like stunned, you go in for like a visceral, right? And you do tons of damage with that. So you definitely want to mess around with that and get the feel for it. Yeah. So about the bosses, the so the way that you go through the bosses, it's you don't like branch out. Everything is kind of linear, so you kind of fight the next boss after another. Uh, which if you're not like a fan of being able to go to a different route and you fight a boss and then you go like you reach the end of that area, then you turn back and then you go to another, or if like you know you take a different route and then eventually you loop back into the same area. It kind of happens like that. You basically always meet up back at the hotel, but when it comes to bosses, you like go through and progress. Basically, you don't. There's no like um separate path to fighting a different boss. Uh, but with that being said, they do have a very interesting and unique design. Some you could kind of like get an idea what their like inspo was. Like for example, the the second boss I think in this game, the he I forgot his name, but he like plays with the children. He looks like a cop robot. He's very big and he has electricity. He kind of reminds me of the boss in Dark Souls 3, the Vort of the Borel Valley, I think, where he's like on all fours. he has that hammer and he shoots like ice breath. He kind of gives me that kind of vibes just with electricity. But you know, you'll find like bosses that are inspired by like other bosses. But they do have a few unique ones themselves. Like for example, like there's this thing called like the slime monster. I think I personally think it's a little unique just cause how it introduces itself to you and how the fight uh progresses with it. So they got a few unique bosses themselves. They're very fun. They're very easy. They're not too difficult, but it pushes you and it challenges you to like, oh, okay, they do this, they do that. Can I block this? Is it safe? Can I parry that? You know, stuff like that. There are some good bosses in this game. Like the one I'm fighting here. This is a really fun boss fight. Uh, I genuinely like this boss fight. It's one of my favorite ones. Uh, the another boss that's my favorite is called the Archbishop, simply because during his second phase has one of like the best soundtracks in the game, at least in all of the boss fights in Lies of P. So, um, that was my personal favorite because of the boss fight. It reminds me of Duels of Fate and the uh, Phantom Menace at the very end of of that film. But yeah, like I said, the bosses are pretty cool. Oh, I did want to talk about like the humanity thing. Whether the character you play as, like he um progresses to being a human, so basically becoming a real boy. I think that's a really neat mechanic because whenever you're going through the game in its entirety, you make decisions. There are events that take place, and you get to decide. And depending on your actions, you can either lean towards becoming a human being, or you end up being uh like a puppet still. Like you don't change basically. And the game does have different endings. You know, obviously they have like the good, the bad, and true endings and stuff like that. I think there's only three. But uh, I do believe I want to say that there is gonna be one of those endings that are actually gonna be like the true and canon ending. I just don't know which one that would be. Uh, but you have different choices in the ending. You know, there are characters that have their own side quests, and then you still make decisions uh with them as well, and that also alters your um uh whether you become like a real boy or not. So I think that's pretty neat, that idea, that concept. uh and I genuinely can't wait to see what the second game is gonna offer or bring, because if that was in the first one, I wonder what the second one is going to be about, or even like the DLC, what that's going to even be about. Is it going to progress the story, or is it going to be like a whole separate like side quest or a whole side thing? You know, that's always it's always fun to think about something like that, of the possibilities, because with Liza P, I think it's unique in its own right. You know, kind of like how I think that Sekiro is unique in its own right. um uh the creativeness behind it, I can't wait to see what more they can do uh with this. Oh, there is a character that I hate, Ali Doro. Oh my god, he sucks. And there you have it. There's my review of Liza P. um to sum it all up, I recommend getting this game. I think it's genuinely fun and unique. And of course, tell me what you guys think of the game. You know, do you agree with me? You disagree? It don't matter to me. I just want to I want to know what you guys think of it. Um, and of course, if there's anything that I left out, please feel free to comment and let me know, and I'll respond, and uh, tell me your favorite boss fight or what you like about the game, and what uh aspect of the game like stuck with you. Because yeah, I would love to know. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. Take care, and until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Also, I did forget to mention, I did live stream Lies of P on my Twitch channel. Jesus, it's twitch.tv/Ben the Greatest with two N's, so BENN, and then the Greatest. I do stream on Twitch every Tuesday. I'm trying to get more days under my belt, but so far it's been Tuesday. I stream uh, Souls games. I've been streaming some more indie games as of late, and I do try to complete them all the way through, and give my honest review on the game, whether it's good, it's bad, what I like about it, what I disliked about it. But yeah, if you guys want to tune in and chat with me there, I would love that as well. Uh, but yeah, other than that, thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all, and have a good day. Peace.